So what kind of issues have you run into, or what issues do you foresee?
Yeah, so the main question we get is, are we putting health data on chain, right? I think that's something that comes up a lot, and the answer is no, right? And it's no for a few reasons, but primarily there are certain regulations, at least in the United States, about how you can store personal health data, and it's written into the regulation that you have to store it on like a dedicated machine. And if you look at something like the IPFS, right, like that whole protocol for Filecoin, for example, you're essentially like you're using a bunch of partitioned hard drives of potentially unsecured machines. And so just from a regulatory perspective, like some of those issues do creep up, right? I think the secondary thing is like centralization versus decentralization and the implications on value, right? So let's say there's a totally decentralized health data market, right, where everyone puts up, and I think that's like a utopian sort of view on it. It's like very crypto native, and that's what people have tried before. Because the idea we're talking about, it's being tried in like multiple sort of iterations, different flavors on it. But the way it's been tried before is in that way. Let's create a marketplace. People come in, every time your data gets sold or your data gets used, you get paid, right? It deposits in your account before your data even goes out, and there's like a sort of cryptographic proof method to figure out that your data is the one that we need, right? And it's a beautiful system, but then when you think about the reality of a system like that, it's like everyone's going to get paid like 20 cents, maybe, like every time someone requests your data, but then you have to go onto the platform and click yes every time in a timely manner for like, I don't know, 10 cents, 20 cents, whatever that number is. It's too low. It's the payment does not sort of incentivize you to do much. And the reason for that is when you have all this data that anyone can use, it's a commodity, right? And commodities in a market, they get pushed down. The price goes down. Where's the value in this? The real value is in insight generation and asset generation. So what's the information we can pull out from the data set that's useful to a pharma company? That's very, very valuable to a pharma company. What drugs can we generate? I mean, people know how much drugs cost, right? Everyone knows how much pharma makes. And so to really capture value, right? Like, what do you have to give up? You have to give up decentralization. Like that's actually what it is, right? So if you had a centralized entity actually using all this data, brokering deals on your behalf, right? You get more leverage, you get more negotiating power, right? And as a result, you can generate more revenues. And if you're sharing that revenues, the average person also gets paid more, right? And it's for less work, right? Because now they don't have to come in and click every time. They're just sort of delegating responsibility to that central authority. Of course, centralization, I mean, everyone in the crypto space knows, comes with its own risks, right? The way we tried to sort of make the argument that, we can be centralized is, we're based in the United States. We comply with the United States laws. There actually is recourse against our company. Like if you don't like what we did, or if you think what we did is illegal according to US law, you can sue us, right? And so in that sense, we're a little bit like a traditional company. But we're using the blockchain, and specifically the reason we want to use the blockchain is because we're using it as almost like a incentive layer, right? So we're using it as a payments network where we can design the nature of the token to be fair and to reflect future value, not just like cash value.
Unchecked governments have eradicated privacy and truth. Those who resist are brought down swiftly, but we refuse to submit. Unipunks are freedom fighters, protected by encrypted shadows. The future we're building is sovereign and uncensorable. The moonlit night is coming.